computer.
'Cause you're all nice and organized. To my chaotic, you are like organization. You get all your ducks in a row, and I'm still like, hi.
Technical difficulties are over.
Who said they're technical difficulties? They're just little blips to give us some excitement in the day, no?
Nah, it's happiness. It's time for joy. So let's just enjoy and have fun with that. And how much more fun can we have with isolation? Which is actually, is it truly, are we alone? Look at us.
No, I was going to say, I'm sorry, try as you might, close yourself off in a cave in India for 30 years, whatever, you still come out and get to see and be with everybody else. There's no alone.
There is no alone. You know what? Alone, I was reading.
Helen, sorry, who are you again? And what grand and glorious adventures are you having? Want to just say who you are for a moment? I forgot we didn't do that.
Oh, yes, we didn't do that for people who don't know us.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich, and I'm like, have so many hats and so many titles that it's like, a doctor, a mother, an author, a radio host, facilitator of access consciousness, a teacher and founder of School of Akashic Records,
lover of sex, amongst
lover
other
of
things,
sex, lover
you know,
of verse, and an infinite being, of course. And how about you, Rachel? Would you talk about your hats?
Hats. There's lots of them, although currently it's just the blue streak over here. So my name is Rachel Silber, and in this 10 seconds, I'm sitting here in a quiet, it's actually a window behind me, but you can't see it because the little fake dandelions are there, just kind of being pretty. So amongst other things, mom, daughter, sister, wife, I don't know, crazy lunatic, enjoying living on this planet and enjoying the joy of being. I'm also an access consciousness facilitator, and I am so grateful to have tools, and I do other things and have found other things, just kind of being a searcher and a journeyer in the world. I've played with all sorts of tools. The ones that have been the most irreverent, the most fun, and have allowed me to laugh at myself a hell of a whole lot have been the tools of access consciousness. And I have enjoyed it. And somebody else would like to introduce themselves. I think. Oh, that's your Facebook talking. How does it get even better than that? You want to mute that?
What?
You want to mute whatever else was?
Yeah, no, I exited out of Facebook Live because somehow it started talking to me.
Yeah. Well, you can always turn the volume down in it, and then you can see if there's any comments there. So that
that's and then okay, so I'll probably do that. Let's see if I can. Okay. So let's see if I can do that.
So how long has everyone been in isolation? You and I were both traveling. Just click on the little speaker thing and
that's what I'm trying to.
Just click on it and it'll make it X.
I did, but somehow, okay. I think now it's.
I think you got it.
Got it! Yay!
Awesome. So.
Wonderful. Okay.
That was me. Just to show you, you're not the only one that has it. I'm just going to mute that tab, and then I muted the site, so now Facebook can't talk to me until I choose.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the other amazing freedoms in this beyond isolation. So you and I were both traveling the world when the doors kind of shut down everywhere, kind of clinking right behind our butts as we were getting home, right? And we made it.
It was pretty much the last couple of days that we did that. I think
Yeah.
after that, everything closed down.
We were on the next to last flight coming into Guatemala. There was one other flight an hour after us.
Wow.
But we literally had, I think, less than 30-minute connections everywhere we were running, including having to go through international customs. It was crazy, but we
Yeah.
made it. So how does it get even better than that? And I'm
it's
sure we're not the only ones who
No,
had.
I counted. I'm 32 days now on pretty much of that social isolation. First 14 days was quarantine, and now it's just social isolation. And
Yeah.
as people probably saw it yesterday, after so many years, I went stir crazy and I baked banana cookies, which was
Oh,
hilarious.
that's so cool.
Yeah,
Send us
gluten-free
some.
one.
Everybody who's on this Zoom should get the recording along with banana cookies a la Helen. I think that would be
I might actually, I should have probably taped it because it was such a mess in the kitchen. But, which, that's why I don't bake. I don't like the flour everywhere. But it was gluten-free flour, so probably it was easier to clean. But anyway, let's play with isolation. I found, for me, it's actually joyful.
Me too, Helen.
Yeah, it's, I found out, remember for people who took foundation, it's acknowledgement of that we don't like people.
I mean, I don't find you can. I can do both.
Yeah.
Is it that
And
we don't like them, or that we appreciate having a bit of a space between us, kind of a mental space to not be overwhelmed with people's stories or judgments or other things that may be directed at us.
But actually, when we do acknowledge that we don't like them, we realize that we love them and we would like to contribute.
Exactly.
That's why that Zoom, to kind of connect and be present with everybody.
Yeah.
So what if we actually right now connected to all those people that's sitting alone, that not watching us, and just allow them in our circle?
Well, why don't we do, I know this isn't an access tool specifically, but I love the way you do the opening the heart meditation in your Akashic Records class. By the way, world, if you don't know, you are looking at one of the most amazing facilitators that's sitting right there in front of you, being all, like all quiet, whatever, but oh boy, does she get you. She gets you in class. And one of the most joyful things for me is to listen to something that I think you may even have it on your website, the opening the heart meditation, which to me is the sense of always being connected, never being alone. It's like simple ABCs, always being connected. Would you run us through that?
Yeah, I actually did that yesterday on a radio show.
Oh, awesome. So we get to enjoy it too.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure not that many people are driving right now.
No.
But if you are, don't close your eyes. Otherwise, you can do open eyes, closed eyes. But
otherwise, you're going to be socially isolated a whole lot longer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't close those eyes, dudes.
Just be present in your body. That's what I'm asking. Any which way you like it, closed eyes, open eyes, sitting, laying, or just standing, walking, whatever you like. But open your crown and allow the light of the universe to go through your crown, through your body, through your heart, and exit through your feet into the planet, into Earth, and allow it to go all the way into the core, or as we call it, the heart of the planet. And from there, pull the energy of the planet, of the Earth, through everything that the Earth has, into your feet, through your body, into your heart, and allow it to exit through your crown. Bring your attention into your heart and see those two energies mixing and swirling, almost like a whirlpool bubbling in your heart of those two energies, the energy of the universe and the energy of our planet, contributing at the same time, receiving the contribution of our beautiful green planet. And allow that energy to swirl, any colors, any sounds that it makes, and allow it to spill into your body. Allow that to go into every organ, every cell of your body. And now spill it through the skin into the world. Bring more energy from the energy of the earth, from the core, from the heart of the earth into your heart, and bring more of the universal energy from above through your crown into your heart. And keep swirling it and mixing it and spilling it into the world like a fountain from every pore of your body. And keep expanding it more and more and more and more, opening your heart with that, expanding your heart. As the energy expands, keep expanding you and your heart throughout the whole universe. And allow that to feed every being, every molecule in the world, on this planet, in this universe, and keep expanding that light into infinity. And keep expanding it, keep expanding it, keep expanding it. And allow it to contribute to your body. And see if there is, bring your attention into your body without contracting that beautiful energy that permeates every corner of the universe and beyond, every corner of multiverse. And keep expanding it even beyond that. And yet bring your attention into your body. See if there is any corner in your body or in the universe that does not have light. Because that light is the one that can disperse the darkness. Because there is no true darkness. It's just the absence of light. And Rachel, you're co-host, so you can mute people, sorry. And keep expanding your heart while bringing that light into every cell of your body. And go even deeper into the molecules that make up your body, into that space, until you no longer can perceive anything other than that light that is you. And keep expanding it. And keep expanding it throughout the whole universe and beyond. And now from that space, connect to everybody in the universe. And see what contribution you can be to them. And truly sense how much you are not alone. How much are you actually in connection with every living and non-living beings and molecules of the universe that is willing to contribute to you as well when you're willing to receive. And allow yourself to go into your heart again and just see that space that's there. You might see something or somebody. It might be a garden, or it might be some space that you've never been to. And just allow yourself to connect to you, who you are, with no judgment. And see if you can receive any messages, anything that you need to know today that will create a different reality beyond the isolation, beyond the lies that you hear on the internet. And just know your own truth, what's true for you. And just be present with that. It might not have words. It might be just an energy, just an awareness that might come later as words. But just be with that energy and allow it again to expand throughout the whole universe and beyond, with all the connections to everybody and everything. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, or if your eyes are open, just allow yourself to come here and play. And so grateful that you came to play. And how is everybody doing? Any comments?
Well, I can tell you that when you began to really expand out, Annabeth, our dog, came running out because she saw it wasn't little birds like the last time, you know, when you had opened the records here on the balcony, and all these birds started flying, making a birdnado right in front. But it was about 8 those big sopilotes. They're like, I don't know, the buzzards or the big birds that fly over the ravine here. There were a whole bunch of them, and they were just circling and just doing this little dance. And Annabeth didn't bark either. It was this, I see you, you see me. We're in this like space, and we don't have to react to every single thing. We can enjoy whatever this space is. It was beautiful.
It was interesting because this morning I was reading through reference material of access consciousness. Oh, just happened?
What?
I kind of like, Am I still here?
Yes,
Yeah.
you are. Very much so.
Suddenly
But
my
you're not
screen
staying here.
changed.
You're Helen Gitlevich. You are currently present with us. Just, you know, bad humor has to kick in.
Yeah. As I said, I was reading the reference material. So in there, in order to be alone, you have to have so much judgment associated with that, which was kind of like, wow.
But if you look at the word itself, the word you picked out that's so blinged for both of us when we were speaking the other day, isolation. It looks to me like something that I've defined, soul, I've limited myself to only showing up this way, in this format, in this lifetime, this soul, right? And, you know, this is all I am, rather than the infinite being that I be. And infinite has no fin, no end, no borders, no nothing that keeps you just, you know, all by yourself. It's just being an infinite being is being that space and being that connection, that being that communion, really, rather than connection with everything.
And it doesn't matter where we are. In the house, see how we all connected? Yeah, wonderful technology, but it's more than that. Even if there was no technology, we could sense everybody and everything because we're magical. We forget that we're magical. We forget that we go beyond that physical body.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was reading one of the novels, you know, my little guilty pleasure of romance novels and magical books.
Or just joyful for you.
Joyful. Guilty being more of, I would say, not in a true sense.
Yeah, just something that's joyful for you, and the rest of the world says that you've got to be guilty if you have that.
You have that. And it was an interesting name. It's Magical Midlife.
Decadently joyful. I love that. What did you call it? Magical midlife?
Yeah, or midlife magic or something like that. And in there,
I like the magic part, but who decided when the midpoint of life is?
Yeah.
For some people, it's super short. For some people, it could be hundreds of years long. Who decides what classifies midlife?
Because one of the characters was 400 years old and the other one was 40. So who cares?
As long as the sex was good, there you go. They had a good time. I'm joking.
And not so much. As we know, in every joke, there is a part of a joke.
Yes. There's seeds of truth in it.
Usually more truth than a lie, but we don't acknowledge that.
True.
So with magic, it was interesting how the main character became aware of who was close to her, who was not, the energies. It was just amazing how we ignore that. Because she did ignore it in the beginning until somebody spelled it out that she was actually having a magical moment. So how often do we look at things and don't recognize the magic, don't recognize our connections, not until somebody points it out. So we almost have a need for somebody to validate our reality.
Or else we take it for granted. We don't acknowledge it.
Or even ignore it. We don't even see it.
Until it comes and whacks us over the head.
Yeah, exactly. And even then we might say, oh no, that's coincidence.
Yeah.
No,
it's the magic that we be. You know, we have a friend in common, Sharona Hadar-Huri, and she's an Israeli access consciousness facilitator as well, and your hostess oftentimes in Israel, Helen. And one of the things that I learned from her, she said, well, you know, the acronym for truth is energy, space, and consciousness in Hebrew. And I just thought, what are you talking about? And she said, energia, energy, merchav, space, toda'ah, consciousness is emet, the truth of you. So the truth of you is that spaciousness, that magic, as they say in the more kind of the clearings that Gary and Dana are running around running a lot now, is energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracle, mystery, and possibility is the truth of who we be. And any time that we don't acknowledge that about ourselves, like you're saying, it can't show up. We chalk it off to, oh, it just happened to me, rather than, wow, look at this magic that I'm being in this very moment. I love that, Helen. Thank you.
And with magic, with all that isolation, a few days ago, I kind of like went with the wave that a lot of people feel, that loneliness, the kind of like almost like a despair, I would say, which did not work for me anymore, which I knew wasn't mine. But at the same time, I was using so many tools and it was still kind of like there in front of me, that isolation. So what I decided, instead of kind of like going outside and talking to people and doing all kinds of like tools and everything, I decided to go inside. Which is kind of like beyond isolation. I literally turn off the TV, turn off the internet, turn off my phone, and texted a couple of people that, guys, I'm going into total isolation, almost like a deprivation. I went into my old meditative practice, conducted runes, went into Akashic Records, was using access tools, but I would not listen to any video. I would not read any books. The only thing I would do was journaling some of the things. And that's where I realized there is no isolation. I was probably more aware when I was in that space of without the bombardment of information. Then I could perceive the whole world and what was true for me. Which is kind of like when we played on the name of Beyond Isolation, I didn't even think about that moment where things shifted, which went actually beyond isolation.
Perhaps into a gift of the situation and a gift of the space and the gift of this experience.
The gift of expanse, the gift of consciousness, the gift, because you cannot be alone in consciousness.
No.
You always, like, universe always has your back. And you cannot be alone. You cannot be isolated, no matter what the government says. No matter what anybody says. So my invitation to people, because what I was doing before, I was actually distracting myself with internet, with books, with TV, even with classes that I was taking, because it was something to do.
Yeah.
Same what we talked about, reaction.
Right.
Instead of action.
It's a doing versus a being.
Mm-hmm.
But Helen, something that I've done over the last, I guess it's been like 2 weeks practically, I've not had that fear of missing out that some people have about, oh my God, I have to take this. And oh my God, I have to take that. No, I've been so in tune with there's something that's required of me here, or there's something that's there for me here. And then I will choose a class. Like I'm going to be starting a 4-day class, birthday gift, the Symphony of Possibilities with Dr. Dane. And I don't have to take this one. I could take another one that's in June or July or whenever that is in Mexico. But that didn't pull me yet. I don't know, maybe it'll pull me later. There was something like, you're required to be on this now. There's something here that's required from you. And so I'm choosing it not as a distraction, but as an expansion. And what I've been doing the last couple of weeks is going through some books and reading them. Most recently, I was reading and that's why I have it here next to me. You can't see it. That's really funny.
No, you can't see it because
this is the modern day version. Oh, that is so funny. So this is the How to Become Money workbook, but I was reading the English version, the old one, the old version that I have in English. So the cover was green. That was really cool. But and I was doing it less as a doing and more as an exploring. And to me, what you did with the saying, you know what, I'm not going to be at the effect of this and reacting to every single thing and, oh my God, I can't miss this. And, oh my God, I can't miss that. You went into an inner journey. It is your point of view that creates your reality. Is your point of view that kind of filters how you look at the world. And you were honoring enough of you to take that space, to really have that intimacy with you, to go on this inner journey and just be with you and an allowance of whatever's going on and just going, hi, I'm here. What can we choose now? Not, oh my God, I'm going crazy. What can I do to change this? But actually, let's be with this. What's the gift here? What's the gift in me? And I love that. It's an inner quest.
It was. And what's interesting, when I came out, everything was cognitive and conscious, which was different when I was following kind of like, oh, let's do this, let's do this. And in that time, I still thought I was being, but there is still an element of reaction. So what if we don't react to anything that's going on, but just choose what's true for us?
So for those who don't recognize how to do that, how would you say that they could choose what's true for them, Helen? What's true for you? How do you
for me,
recognize
it's when it's light and joyful. Something that brings me joy. That's what's true. Doesn't have to be easy, but it's something that creates a different reality for me. No matter what it looks like. Even if it's turning off the phone or going for a walk, facilitating a class, or taking a class. And I'm so looking forward to facilitating a class with you. That was actually very light, and that was what's true. We're doing the foundation in May, skipping the Mother's Day. We'll have a day off.
2 days, Mama's Day, 2 days. Yeah, I was thrilled for all of it, the time of it, the suggestion that you had to skip the day in between. And yeah, for me, it's what puts a smile without me even recognizing. There's this like sigh of, it's not like a cognitive thing of what's right. Let me make the right choice, the good choice, the perfect choice. It's just this, it puts a smile. I call it on both sets of lips. Well, because I'm a woman, so, you know, I got them both going on, right? So if it's got a smile here and a smile here and, you know, my pussy's happy, I'm a happy woman, you know, and I'm not just a woman, I'm an infinite being, but I just, you know, irreverently say, you know, if it's got a smile going, it's just this sense of without even having to think it through, and it's like that fast. And so it's really cool when you're not worrying about what's right and what's the next step and what should I be doing. It's just following the lightness in life.
Yeah. Following what creates a different space. I would say, how did you feel during meditation?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved
That's
it.
what's true for you, actually. Like that space of heart, that's connection with earth, with elements, with people. That's what's true for us. Everything else is a judgment and a lie a lot of times.
It's a contraction into soul rather than, well, that's part of the foundation class, but speaking about immortal soul or an infinite being. But it's interesting. It's this contraction into I am me and I am separate than you, rather than, wow, everything is kind of breathing and moving and shifting together. And I'm looking at the ravine in front of me and the houses that are over there. And I just, there's this expansion in my heart, you could say, or in my, I'm not even sure how to express it, but there is no us or them. And I know this sounds so strange, but it's just all of us. It's we. There's no alone.
There is no alone. It's impossible because the air we breathe, it's the same air that somebody else is breathing.
Go scare some people to put their masks on in the Zoom.
And yet it's everything. So when I'm looking outside right now, I'm looking at in Chicago, it's starting the spring. We actually had the snow yesterday, which was kind of like, it was snowing.
I love that.
I know. The earth is like so unpredictable right now. It's so funny. Everything we know that we think we know, it actually does not exist. So with all that isolation, the earth is thriving.
It's actually taking a breather and expanding itself the way we did when you did the meditation.
Exactly. And when I kind of like went inside instead of outside for that support, because a lot of times what I found, I jump out like to talk to people and that's not the wrongness, because a lot of time that's what helps. It's about knowing what works in the moment, by the way. Because sometimes it works to call somebody or listen to the class or take the class or facilitate the class. And sometimes there is a necessity to go inside to know what is that's been missing in that part, or what we suppressed, and how much we're suppressing parts of ourselves to fit into this reality, even into this isolation. Because when I was kind of like in that alone time, I also discovered that a lot of my depression or kind of like feeling that anxiety was to fit in like everybody else feels. And I was talking, I think, to Rachel, my daughter, and she's like, yeah, it's feeling you need to fit into that isolation that people have.
And into the crazy mode and the desperation. I saw in the Maestro chat, one of the people shared a picture of like a statue of David, slim and handsome and beautiful, and then a statue of, super overweight, and it's like, oh, this is gonna happen. No, none of that stuff's been going on in my world. I eat what my body would like me to eat. I drink well, not totally, because it's Passover now. So, until tonight, I'm still limited. We made good matzo ball soup yesterday, though. And the thing is that I'm only having what works for me. And if it doesn't work for me, I don't bother having it, whatever it is. Yeah. There isn't this, oh my God, I'm all alone, so I'm just going to eat. No, I look into, okay, hey, body, do you really require to eat?
Mm-hmm.
What is this? You know, is this even ours? Is it somebody else's? What are you aware of? What is it that you'd like to be filled up with? Would you like, you know, a hug? Would you like, you know, a little caress? Or my body's been really enjoying foot massages. And guess who's been giving the foot massages? These two little hands. I've been taking care of myself, not from loneliness, but from choice, from being willing. I'd like to have this, so I'm going to gift it to myself. I don't have to wait on anybody else. I don't have to look outside. I can still receive the contribution of everything. We're so fast to gift all the time. We're not that allowing to receive the contribution that the earth, that the planet, that the molecules would like to gift us as well. And what would that be like? But not look for it from the sense of neediness, looking for someone else to fulfill us, or a class, or a guru, or a whatever to give us the answer, or the thing, whatever that's going to fulfill us. What if we just begin with us? What do I know here? What works for me? What would I like to choose? What would be joyful for me? What would I like to have more of? And begin there, and then add to it. What else would I like to be and contribute and receive? You know, and keep playing with all of that. What a gift it is to actually have this time. It's been a few weeks of just exploring. We were in quarantine for 2 weeks, and then my friend Christina said, you know, they've just discovered that in 2 weeks they probably won't find, you know, if somebody's really contagious or not, so you should probably be in quarantine longer. So we kind of extended it. It's been what, 4 weeks now, since March 16th. We hardly leave the house. Thankfully, I live in a place that has an open balcony to the ravine, so I don't feel like there's a wall closing me off. But even there, I'm willing to do that going in like you did, and exploring the gift.
It's almost like the universe is forcing us to explore what works for us, what we like, what we don't like, because there is very little input of kind of like the outside world right now. Well, except if we choose to. There is really the infinite possibilities of choice and what we choose. Do we choose consciousness? Do we choose unconsciousness? Do we choose to believe lies and go into judgment? Or do we actually go inside and be and create and generate what works for us instead of against us?
Yeah. And I love that. It's choosing for more ease and more joy and more possibilities, if we're willing to have that. And a lot of what I've heard or seen in groups and posts and stuff like that, there isn't that lighthearted irreverence. It's more of, oh, this pain and suffering, or oh, this, you know, oh, you won't be able to walk straight on heels, you know, after a month in slippers. I'm not even freaking using slippers. I'm in socks or barefoot or whatever.
Me too.
Prefers that than heels. You know, my body doesn't care for heels all that much. It isn't about being so appropriate. It's about what works for you, and actually tuning into what works for me. Hey, body, what delights you? And if you feel like putting on a ball gown for just enjoying yourself, my daughter is in, it's not homeschool, it's online school, but it's, you know, obviously at home. So she has her laptop, and they have Zoom meetings every I think 2 hours during the day, several times a day. And she's really into, hey mom, what should I wear tomorrow? And should I wear my badass boots with this outfit? Like, nobody's gonna see your feet. She says, but I will. And I'd like to feel like I'm wearing my badass boots today. So I'm like, go for it. And she paints her face with gory makeup just because she can, or because she feels like it. She's learned how to Dutch braid her hair. She could leave it down. Nobody gives a shit, you know? But no, she's choosing to do this because it's fun for her. And I love that. What's fun for each of us? What's joyful for each of us? What can we allow ourselves to explore with this gift of inside time?
It is inside time. This is not isolation. So let's not even define it as isolation. Let's just be present with, it's being present actually with what we are and choosing every second with no point of view, which is kind of fun because all my life there was that need to accomplish something, to do something, to travel, to whatever. And suddenly it's like, wait a second, that's not necessary anymore. Nothing is necessary anymore. It's now complete choice. What do we choose next? That 10 seconds increments. What do I choose next? And somehow that expanded completely from being wrong into, wow, that's such a freedom. And there is no more judgment of what I wear, but at the same time, I'm actually wearing what I like. I still ask, Bati, what would you like to wear today? And somebody said that they were wearing pajamas all the time. And I'm like, but I'm not comfortable in pajamas.
I'm comfortable in pajamas just because my pajamas are comfy, but my body doesn't wish to. And that's one of my excuses for doing the Facebook group with the Facebook Lives, each day reading, was that extra impetus of, no, I've got a date. It may be a date with just me. It may be a date that contributes to somebody else. But I've got this date where I'm going to be reading and I'm going to be dressed and I'm going to feel good about myself, whether my hair is down or not. I haven't had my hair cut in months because I went on a trip. My hairdresser was, not available because she was sick right before my trip. And so it's been way too long of not getting a haircut. And even that, who cares? So I put my hair up, or so it's long, or whatever. It makes no difference. It's, hey, body, what would you like to do now? Certainly with it being this long, my daughter gets to practice doing Dutch braids on my hair too. So
yes,
this freedom, the freedom to choose. And with every choice, as long as we're not judging ourselves, we're grateful for having the rapidity of choosing, the active energy that comes in choosing, that we get to create the joy and the living and the wonder of whatever it is that we'd like in that moment, in that day. And there's no right choice or wrong choice. It's just a choice for right this moment. And then what? And then what? And then what?
I love what you said about living wonder and being in the wonder, because that's pretty much like kids. They always happy. They always in the wonder. What's that? What can I do now? What can I do now?
And they're eager to get up in the morning. Have you noticed that about little kids? They don't hit the snooze button. They ain't no snooze button. And as soon as the sun shines, whatever, and it no longer looks like night, they are up and roaring and ready to go.
Exactly. So what if we be like that? Isolated or not? Just happy to be alive. Happy to be. Happy to do whatever we choose in that moment.
So I wonder, how is this coming through? How are all of you guys here? Is there anything that's coming up for you guys? Any questions or any comments or any experience that you'd like to share about you know, what this is bringing up in your world or what you've been experiencing? Or do you have any questions for us? I'm wondering, because we could certainly keep talking.
We have a question, Helen. I'm wondering what questions you ask going inside. Pretty much I went into my Zen meditation practice where I was asking, who am I? The infamous question that allows, at least for me, to look at what's going on. Who am I and what is that? That was the two questions I was asking. What is that? What's going on? Nothing fancy, nothing kind of like crazy, but it was literally, who am I? And what grand and glorious adventure can we have today?
Yeah, and you actually gifted yourself the space and the allowance to explore whatever comes up and to go with it, to indulge in it. Okay, and where does this lead? And where does this take you? And what else is there?
Exactly.
For me, it's just been hi. Literally, it's just been hi.
Hi
and
to
then
me. Yeah, it's literally saying hello. Hi. Who are you that's been sitting in that isolation, or who's been living the last how many years I've been alive, this lifetime? Not saying my age, but
I have no point of view about age. It's my birthday, my Jewish birthday tomorrow night. 51.
Oh,
my daughter reminded me. I don't care.
Yeah. Happy birthday, darling.
Thank you, thank you.
And so it's been amazing, and we'll probably should wrap it up because it's been almost an hour, and I think the Zoom practitioner is coming up.
Oh yes, that's coming up. Anybody who's had a bars class who hasn't checked their email recently, there is an all practitioner bars practitioner Zoom, I guess. That's coming up, so you are welcome to hop onto that as well. And I love this question, Kathy, that you wrote. What am I avoiding with the distraction I am choosing? And how many feelings are you using to keep yourself distracted as well? And
yeah, exactly.
And
also, if you like to join for other Zooms, and Rachel, you've been reading the books and doing some free Zooms as well. And
I have a Facebook group called the Space of Possibilities group. You're welcome to ask me for an invite for that or just request. We've read a few books in there and it's been a lot of fun.
Right. And I'm actually doing a group symphony taster.
I'm joining you for that.
Yeah, it's on Monday. I
hope it's when I have a space in class or right after class or something.
Yeah, it's at noon, so it should be fun. So what else can we create?
And if anyone would like to join us for other Zooms or for the foundation class, if you'd like to explore 4 deep days of 2, Space for Mama's Day, and 2, you're invited to join us in May. How does it get?
Yeah, how does it get any better than that? And we'll see you somewhere, somehow, either online or in person.
And eventually, sometime, we'll be able to give you a hug.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very, very much. And thank you, Helen. I really appreciate this.
Thank you very much, girls. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.